Welcome back. So Friday TTS Daily with me, Yi. Just only a few stories. Mainly our main story today is the focus on the lady, 24-year-old lady that went on a rampage, on a sharp object rampage after a vehicular accident in Kajang, Malaysia. Next up, we may have a little tiny bit on another vape incident in Singapore MRT, and we last end it off with another love scam in Singapore, or should I call it a flirt scam, or an explicit activity texting scam. Okay, let's just get into it. Okay, so there's this really viral story going on right now in Malaysia where on 13 August 2025, a 24-year-old Chinese national foreigner lady went on a rampage in Kajang, Malaysia. Okay, near noon, she first got into a vehicular accident with a white sedan when her white sedan crashed into three motorcycles, and allegedly she got out with a sharp object and swung or poked at a motorcyclist before retreating to her car. Okay, so this story went really viral, have been covered by several sources, but the sources have all different conflicting information, so it's kind of confusing, and the videos are kind of edited sometimes not in chronological order. And some sources weren't comfortable with stating the nationality of the suspect, the lady in question. Some sources just plainly stated the lady as a 24-year-old foreigner without stating the nationality. But SCMP here has stated that this lady is a 24-year-old Chinese national foreigner. Okay, so we just follow SCMP right here. And we begin the video. We'll try to cover this story as best as we could chronologically from all the sources that we can source from online. So the video starts out, you can see right here, this allegedly happened after the car accident. She got out, swung her sharp object, and then she got back into the car. So you can see now at the start of the video, there's motorists, outside her car, kicking at the door of her car before she opened the car door and got out again, and this time starting to swing around again with her sharp object. And there's this footage here of her walking around the road, the traffic junction. You can see she's barefooted, white pajamas, by spectacle. That sharp object is still in her hand, which she's swinging and poking around wildly at random people, motorcyclists. The motorcyclists are just trying to keep a safe distance from her, just keeping track of her and warning other members of the public, watch out for this deranged lady. And this poor motorcyclist here happened to stop at the junction, and she just took a swing, a poke at him, and I believe he did get injured. And then she switches targeting other motorcyclists at the road junction, chasing them around vehicles like a merry-go-round. So people are just tracking her, trying to make sure others are all alerted and safe. And now she noticed that she's outside this mall, Metro Point, and at this point, she had the idea to suddenly start sprinting into the mall, and at the ground floor of the mall is a yogurt shop, and she sprints inside there. But kudos to everyone that's keeping track of her, that you can see from here. All the motorcyclists is 3 to 4 or 5 members of the public. Community spirit right here. Kudos to all of them for tracking her and warning other members of the public to be safe. You can see she sprinted into the yogurt shop, and the motorcyclist finally managed to disarm her inside the yogurt shop and restrain her briefly on the floor before they actually let her go. I mean, let's just say that this lady here, mileage might vary if she were to do this somewhere else besides Malaysia, okay? If this were to happen in other hemispheres of the world that's not Malaysia, her mileage might greatly vary. Kind of shocked that they actually didn't fully restrain her after disarming her and actually let her go. And she got up, still screaming a few sentences in Chinese that I'll explain later. Got up screaming that, wore her specs, and walked out of the mall. First of all, kudos to all the motorcyclists that took her down, disarmed her, restrained her briefly, and let her go because, yes, she's a lady and they're guys, so, they didn't want to. It's probably just it's a mindset and culture here And like I said, when she got up, she was uttering a few messages non-stop in Chinese. The first one, she was saying to unalive to the her. And she also said that she hates the country that she's in now, Malaysia. So she keeps saying that, she hates the country that she's in, Malaysia. And also to say that, to her. So she just keeps repeating this in Chinese while everyone is just keeping a safe distance from her, continually tracking her, make sure she doesn't, she doesn't cause more damage or chaos. And she goes out the mall, and the final scenes here, we can see she is finally apprehended by 2 police officers on the ground. And allegedly from other sources, as mentioned here from this coverage by China Press, apparently there was a police officer tracking her also initially, but he didn't fully commit into restraining her because she is a girl, a lady, and he was a male, because it might cause, like people saying, oh, hey, you're a guy, she's a girl, why are you like using too much force, or how, So I'm just saying, once again, this incident happening to this lady in Malaysia and not other parts of the world, because if this were to happen in other parts of the world, I'm not sure if she would just be, simply being arrested and escorted off to the police station or whatnot, the ending might have greatly differ if you understood what I'm talking about. So yeah, everyone is basically showing a lot of restraint to her after disarming her. I mean, this just shows the culture, right? First the public disarm her and restrain her for a few seconds and letting her go, because they're male, she's a girl, so they already take it as, she's no longer a threat. And the police officers also, waited until there's 2 of them. Yeah, and now we have further context that in total she has caused hurt to 6 members of the public. Maybe initially from the initial car accident, and then also from her swinging and poking her sharp object. And also she has been identified as a 24-year-old Chinese national foreigner studying in a local university in Kajang, Malaysia. Investigations are still on the way, but preliminary investigations suggest the reason for her behaving this way is because of stress. So stress, high stress from studying in a university, or is it college over there, caused her to behave this way. I mean, if you were to see once again, take note that she was barefooted, wearing her pajamas, and then she had a sharp object which looks like it belongs in the kitchen, and she actually getting into a car accident before getting out of the car. It seems that she might have been pretty set on ending things really badly on her own terms. And the reason for it is just stress. Once again, kudos to members of the public, watching out for each other, and everyone really showing great restraint towards her, even though she could have ended someone really, really badly. Okay, another vaping incident. This time, this teen boy in black t-shirt was caught staggering or behaving weird erratically at the MRT line. Happens at Lakeside MRT. So one member of the public informed the MRT staff. I mean, this is getting more and more commonplace, right? They choose to vape in public. So we have to inform the MRT line, the MRT staff, and 2 of them here can be seen trying to tell him to wait, and he's getting very aggressive and can be seen shoving them. So most probably maybe he wants to try to escape before the authorities come, because they have to escort him off the train and hand him over to the authorities, right? But I mean, just look at the uncles and aunties of the MRT staff line. They are like middle-aged and over, So I mean, and if the vapors choose to be aggressive, they need to, hold him there until the authorities come. But is it time for them to be better equipped, so they can better manage situations like this? I mean, what if there are going to be more and more cases where these vapors get more and more aggressive, trying to make a run from it? Because as you know, intermediate is going to be reclassified to class 3 under the, under the Substance Act. So if this, and that would mean harsher penalties, so the vapor might react more aggressively after the reclassification. So should we let our uncles and aunties of the MRT staff line be better equipped? and train, maybe, more self-defense lessons to handle such a situation. Because it's getting more and more, seriously, So more and more until that, news of people behaving like zombies or vapors at MRT lines is getting pretty common. Mr. A was having lots of fun texting Miss B, someone that he met on an online dating platform, and things got heated up in the text messages until Miss B started extorting from Mr. A. This is your last story of the day. Follow us for more. This just happened in Singapore, okay? So, Miss B is a 24-year-old Singaporean woman who is a student care teacher at a tuition center. And Mr. A is the victim, who is a 23-year-old full-time national service man. Mr. A met Miss B on an online dating platform in April 2023, and they began texting each other, even moving to phone calls, and as they text each other, the messages get more and more passionate and heated until it becomes explicit of nature. And in their chats, they started discuss meeting up for exciting time, However, I believe no such exciting time did happen. After knowing each other at April 2003 and chatting with each other for about a month, Miss B suddenly on May 2003 lied about needing money for hospital bills and even promising to meet Mr. A in person to return the money, okay? So she lied to him, and on May 13, 2003, Mr. A transferred 430 Singapore dollars to Miss B. And then the next day on May 14, she lied some more because it seems that Mr. A believed her so easily. And Mr. A transferred her another 600 Singapore dollars on May 14, 2023. Wow. However, 2 days later on May 16, Miss B now, instead of claiming more medical bills, instead, Miss B instantly told Mr. A, "You are making me uncomfortable, and your messages that you send me, those exciting stuff, those explicit stuff, I don't think it's appropriate, and I think I might want to report you to my uncle," her uncle which doesn't exist, by the way, my uncle who is in the SPF, Singapore Police Force. Now, that really got Mr. A really nervous, and he feared legal repercussions right now, okay? And the case didn't tell us exactly what kind of stuff was Mr. A texting Miss B, so much so that he actually really feared legal repercussions. This is a point that maybe we will never find out. So on May 16, after Miss B, threatened and extorted him, and he was so fearful, Mr. A actually paid 700 Singapore dollars out of fear to Miss B. So by now, Miss B is really treating Mr. A like her piggy bank, personal ATM, right? So what do you think? Is this like a love scam that diverted into a fear scam? So we are thinking, did Miss B actually ever enjoy this explicit text with Mr. A in the first place? Or was this all part of her elaborate scheme to extort money from her after getting into these heaty messages? We will probably never know, I guess. So after Miss B did her 3-hit combo, 430, 600, and then, extorted 700, she suddenly demanded 5,000 Singapore dollars to Mr. A, threatening him that if you do not do so and I report you to the authorities, you are looking at up to 100,000 Singapore dollars fine, or even going, have a nice day in a prison. So I'm thinking right now, what kind of sentencing is Miss B pulling out of thin air from? Because a fine of 100,000 Singapore dollars is quite rare in itself. So Mr. A didn't oblige, probably, out of no money or not enough money, and so she dropped her demands from 5,000 Singapore dollars to 2,500 Singapore dollars. Mr. A didn't oblige still, okay? And so she dropped her demands down again to 500 Singapore dollars, but Mr. A at this point already somehow felt like, okay, I don't want to deal with her anymore, let's just ignore her. So he just ghosted her, ignored her. I mean, now Miss B is probably thinking, oh no, maybe that amount was too big for him, I shouldn't have hard sell it so hard. So, on June 1st, 2003, Miss B had a new ploy, okay? She contacted Mr. A and told Mr. A that, hey, I could actually return you some money now, the money that I borrowed from you, for the hospital bills and so forth. I could return you some money, but I need 1,000 Singapore dollars first because I need the money to activate my bank account before I could return the money to you. And as ridiculous as this story is, even though Mr. A did question her a bit and Miss B in the end told him, I just need 950 Singapore dollars to activate her bank account now. Mr. A actually bought her story and transferred her 950 Singapore dollars. Shockingly, Mr. A is really such a nice target for Miss B, But after paying the 950 Singapore dollars, Mr. A also contacted his bank and asked if such a thing was, even possible. And his bank recommended him to lodge a police report. I mean, at this point, he should have realized this was a scam, lodge a police report and the story would have ended here, right? Am I right? Am I right, Mr. A? Sadly, Mr. A didn't lodge a police report, He just decided that, I'm not going to lodge a police report, I'm just going to block her. I'm just going to block Miss B. So Miss B then realized Mr. A is blocking her. So what's her next move now? Because Mr. A is such a nice person who keeps being extorted by her non-stop. So it's like she doesn't want to lose this personal ATM right now. So Miss B has another new ploy. She's really full of really imaginative ploys, So now Miss B created a fake account on the Telegram app on June 3rd, 2023, and she posed as a police officer contacting Mr. A. I mean, a police officer contacting Mr. A on the Telegram app. How believable could this be? I mean, honestly, if Mr. A really fall for this, okay? So on the Telegram app, while posing as the police officer, Miss B tried to convince Mr. A by saying stuff such as, I need you to do whatever she asks you to do, because this is a very serious offense and you can be charged and imprisoned if you are reported. And Miss B also, posing as a police officer, was also quoted as telling this to Mr. A, please unblock her from WhatsApp and from phone calls. If not, I will take serious action towards you. I mean, seriously, if Mr. A really fell for this, thankfully, he didn't fall for it, okay? Mr. A apologized to the police officer and contacted the authorities on June 3rd, 2023. Thankfully, at least, at some point in time, some common sense kicked into Mr. A's head, okay? And before we talk about Miss B pleading guilty in court and her sentencing, she was also charged for another unrelated crime where in September 2002, she tried selling her bank account to an unknown person on the Telegram app also. So now, Miss B has pleaded guilty to 1 count each of extortion, cheating and misusing a computer system. And she has been sentenced to 2 years and 6 months jail on August 14, 2025, with her bail set at 15,000 Singapore dollars and her sentence to begin on August 18, 2025. So, guys out there, if you wanna engage in like heaty messages with people that you met on online dating platform, I suggest you keep it until a stage where you have met the persons, in person, and you two are like officially together as boyfriend, girlfriend in a relationship, and honestly, what's the fun in these exciting, heaty, explicit messages? Is it something that I just don't get?